Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome back to the stream. It is I, DG Driver, welcoming you to your Saturday, March 23rd, 2024, unless you're overseas and it's already like 6:30 something in the morning in like I think Sydney or Tokyo, in which case, happy Sunday morning to you. I did a thing today. I decided I was going to go fly, and I've been talking up flying in P3D, but I didn't quite know where I wanted to go right up until just about an hour ago. I got a crazy idea in my head to go flying to Iceland. So we are in Halifax right now in Nova Scotia, and we're going to go fly from Halifax International Airport to Keflavik, and we're going to do it in accelerated time because I don't feel like waiting for I don't know, 4+ hours to get there. So I think it's going to take closer to like 2-ish hours, probably 3, depending on how long I take on the ground. I also have some food that I'm probably going to be munching a little bit as we prep, so don't mind me if I take occasional breaks. But in any case, welcome aboard. We are in the Quality Wings 787-800 in Air Canada livery. I tell you, I like this so much. One of the best looking liveries I've seen on any plane ever. And I still have to get some things set up for my flight. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to leave you guys inside the cabin, get some ambient noise. But you know what? Unfortunately, whenever I switch out of P3D, it's going to take me away from the in-cabin sounds, which I suspect are the ones from the Quality Wings add-on. I'm working on the flight plan as we speak, and I am getting my things set up on SimBrief. We are Air Canada 197, and we're flying out of Charlie Yankee Hotel Zulu to Bravo India Kilo Foxtrot. We've got an alternate at Bravo India Alpha Romeo, which I certainly hope we don't have to use because I don't know how to get there. I don't know what the airport looks like, but we can always take a look at that in cruise. And even if we accelerate time, we're going to have a while to get there. So, not worried about it per se. The only thing I'm worried about is that the flight plan is not one that I can easily upload to my Quality Wings aircraft. So I'm going to try downloading the flight plan and then uploading it through I think the flight plan screen. We're going to be well north of the Nat tracks, and I have my briefing and then I have flight plan downloads. I used to have this SimBrief downloader running, but I can probably get that started up. I'm just what's the phrase? I'm lazy right now. What I do want to do though is I want to grab the file that I just created and put it in a Quality Wings directory if I can find it. So give me a few seconds, and my apologies for the relative silence on stream. Hopefully you folks are doing very well this afternoon. So I'm taking a look at my directories. Oh, is it possible that I can still put it in my dispatcher app? I don't know. Ooh, I can install repaints, I can do loadouts, but I can't find that. What I can probably do is find where that program's installed. So let me see. Go to properties, open file location. Okay, so the dispatcher is there. There we go. All right. So now I know where to put my flight plans, and I'm probably going to make a shortcut to that on the desktop. Done. Beautiful. Boom. So I just downloaded the flight plan from SimBrief. I'm going to try to import this into charts as well, and we're going to get going momentarily. Again, like I said, I apologize for starting so late, but hopefully we'll still have a good experience this afternoon, and I fully intend on entertaining you guys. So, I am in the cockpit here, and we're going to get started with the usual rigors. I'm going to get the panel lighting up, and I think panel lighting was here, and I think that's the front lighting as well. No, no, there's a separate one for that. At least I thought there was. Hang on a moment. There we go. That's the panel lighting. I used to think the resolution actually didn't make a difference in the sim, but I just did a quick test, and 2K resolution takes a chunk out of my frame rate. I'm back to 1080p right now, and I am very happy with the smoothness that I feel inside the flight deck. So I'm probably going to keep it here for a long time. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get started with the dispatch, and let me see if there's any way that I can actually... No, I can't. I can't actually look at that, but I did download the flight plan. I wonder if I can actually get the flight plan to work. I apologize. I keep switching back and forth, but it's a necessary right now. Flight plans are here. Briefing preview. That's what I was going for. I'm going to take about 92,700 pounds of fuel, and zero fuel weight max is 355 and a half with 65,800 pounds of total payload. So can I swap and take a look at the window without looking away? That's weird. It doesn't let me do that anymore. Oh, strange. So total fuel, 92,700 pounds. No, there we go. 9,2,700. Payload weight is going to be 65,800. And zero fuel weight is 334, but that's based on, let's see, what passenger count do I have? It says 286, but we're not getting to that number. If we max out passengers, let's see what happens. Okay, 8 and 8 is 16. That's 36. 216 passengers. I'm like 76 some odd short, but I'm about 10,000 pounds under what it had for max zero fuel weight. And we have some fuel in the center tank, which will burn through, and then we have all the wing tanks. So that's it. Fuel loading is set. Let's go ahead and go back to performance. Airport search, we're going to fly out of Charlie Yankee Hotel Zulu, Stanfield. And what's the departing runway? Departing runway is 14. Conditions are wet. Winds are currently what, I wonder? Conditions. Let's see. 180 at 118, altimeter 3032. 180 at 11. What's the temperature? Temperature is 0. I thought I said 3032. I did. Okay. Yes, I am doing a thing, Kevin. Welcome aboard. Good to see you, my friend. Grab a chair. I can finagle an extra seat for you in business class. 3032. Thrust weighting, we're going to do optimum thrust today. And flaps, we'll probably do a flap 15 takeoff because we're kind of chunky right now. We're going to be taking a lot of fuel. Well, we always take a lot of fuel, but we're going to take a lot of passengers and cargo. Don't mind me. I got my meal from the Air Canada lounge, so to speak. We're flying Air Canada to Iceland today. And I I helped Mrs. Digi get ready for a thing she was doing this afternoon. So there we go. Always take an upgrade. Got that right. Takeoff weight, I think, where's the briefing? Briefing is over here. Takeoff weight's probably going to be about 420,000 pounds. So, no, right here. Jeff, dude, welcome aboard, my friend, the legendary Jeff. My friend, it is a privilege to have you on board. I am very happy to have you here. Grab a seat. We're flying to Iceland today. Welcome. It's good to see you. So, I don't, do I see CG anywhere here? I don't. However, the numbers here are not that bad for takeoff. And let me see what can I see what the runway looks like from here? I don't know. I'm going to send the output to FMC. And before we do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and open some doors. Actually, excuse me. I'm going to call up GSX. We need the jetway, air north, one left. I want the catering service as well. And let's see, reposition aircraft. No, I think we're okay for now. Let's take a look outside. Okay, there is the jetway. Here come the trucks. And let's do this. Let's go ahead and make sure the front door is open. I'm going to open the R2 and R4 doors. And we're also going to open up cargo and bulk cargo just in case you have to do any kind of loading there. So we are configuring the 787-800 for departure. And I'm just checking to make sure my cats aren't getting into mischief. I love them both. And I think we're good. I think we're good. So I need to load my flight plan. I think I can do that here. Route entry. No, it's probably going to be inside the FMC. So, init ref, I just updated my AirAC cycle today, and I'm going to do... I can't request a flight plan? Oh, here we go. Route request. And here we go. That's the flight plan. And what runway are we using today? I forget. It is runway 14, and we're landing on 10. Flight number is ACA197. All right. Let's go to performance init, and we have our fuel. We have our, no, that's not the number of reserves. Something is up. We took 76,900 pounds of fuel. Does that make sense? I thought we were going to take more. Let me check my loadout. Something about that doesn't seem right. That's payload, not fuel. So, wait. Why does that seem wrong? Also, why does the outside sound doesn't sound like it's supposed to be working? Give me a moment. Hopefully my sim's not borked. I should have heard the the um the folks coming into it out of the plane. Something about this seems a bit off. I really, really hope I do not have to restart the entire thing. I hope not. But as long as you folks can actually hear the engine, just switching to something temporarily, guys. Hold on. You can hear the interior, you just can't hear anything outside. So I guess we'll just stay inside the plane all day. Okay, they are done with catering services. At least the rear catering service is done. And how much fuel do we have? Total fuel, 76,900 pounds? No, there's got to be more fuel than that. Load agent. There we go. There we go. I think I forgot to do something. That's better. Oh, excuse me. Leave that one open and close the doors. So that's better. The cargo doors are open. And yeah, let's take a quick look at the airport, shall we? We are at Halifax Stanfield in Halifax, Nova Scotia. It was rainy earlier, or it is misty, and we're going to be getting out of here momentarily. Once I'm done switching back and forth, 33,400 pounds of reserves, and we're cruising at an altitude of 41,000 feet. Called it. Cost index is going to be 160. Let's go. Full blast, people. Full blast. Thrust, we're going to be doing takeoff thrust. And we have to set CG. CG is 21 at 500, which we'll set in a little bit. I'll do the trim now. There we go. Trim is set and pre-flight's complete. Superb. All right, so the route should be... Okay, well, we have a departure and arrival airports. I didn't have to enter either one of these, but I am going to have to choose the departure. Looks like it's the Halifax 4 and direct to Yankee Hotel Zulu. And we do have the coordinates for the flight. Yes, this makes me a happy boy. And we're going to do the GRUG 3 Mike arrival. And landing on ILS Zulu 10. I'm going to take a look at my charts to see what the appropriate approach needs to be for this airport. We're landing east. We're literally coming in from the ocean, which is superb. Chef's kiss. Let's do ILS Zulu, and I think VSOX is going to be the approach. The approach waypoint, I should say. So, there we go. VSOX is chosen, and now we have vectors after takeoff. And you know what? I'm not on VATSIM today, so I'm going to get rid of the vectors. We'll treat it like an hour and a half departure. And we have a discontinuity, I think. No, that's the departure. We arrive, VSOX, there's the ILS, and then we land. And I think we climb to 1800 and we go missed if we miss the runway. I'm going to set my transponder, my favorite squawk code 2257 for our ILS departures. And for the nav, next page, I need ILS on, and we're going to take 109.5 at 102. Okay, this changes later. I'm not worried about that so much. And that should be it. Okay, so we're doing the Halifax 4. I'm going to choose it, add it to the route, and the Halifax 4 has an initial climb of 5,000. 5,000 and initial climb is going to be, let's see, is that 1-4? That is 1-4. So 143 is going to be the understood heading. And I'm going to set my airspeed for V2, which is going to be 147. And there we go. Now I can put my auto throttles on and get the flight directors turned on. And I can also start boarding. I should have been boarding already, but it'll give me some time to just catch up with you guys. So catering is completed. Let's go ahead and request boarding. Oh, wait a minute. I just realized something. I think the sounds for the sim are coatal scripting is actually on my main board. That's why I'm not hearing everything. All right, stand by, chat. And let's see if that fixes the problem. I definitely should have P3D up. And speakers. Coatal, I think, is on my... Okay, no worries, Kev. Number of passengers, 216. Okay, so that's what happened. The Coatal software is using my TV speakers for sounds inside of the sim. So you might not hear any of that, and that kind of sucks. Yes. So output devices speakers. Let me check one last thing. Speakers, broadcast. Okay, well, hopefully you guys hear some background noise. I mean, I can switch my microphone from broadcast to regular, but then you'll hear some things going on in the background, and I kind of like broadcast because it cuts down on so much of the background noise that I normally experience. We'll see what happens. Hopefully this works. All right. So while we're boarding, let's also go ahead and get our upstairs situation sorted. IRS's war already turned on, gratefully. We've got external power powering everything at the moment. Battery is high, and window heats are on. Hmm, the beacon light was already on. Passengers are boarding. Let's arm cargo fire. You can start this airplane with packs on, so I'm not worried about that. And pressurization is automatic. Get the logo light on because I'm me. All right. We do have folks boarding. Let's get the APU started. We have the oh, Trip Taker. Thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Beacon lights on. That's the panel. All right, let's go ahead and fire up the APU. Thank you so much, Trip Taker. Really appreciate having you on board. Stick around. Be great to catch up with you and all chat. We're flying to Iceland today, but I will accelerate time a bit so we don't take 4 hours to get there. APU is almost at 60%. And if you guys don't mind, I'm going to munch some lunch while I'm waiting for the APU and everything to come up. Okay, so we've got the APU running now, and it's snowing? Oh, dude. I don't care that it only lasted like 5 seconds. I saw snow. It was coming down. Okay, so the APU gen is running, which means we can take external power away. It is Canada, isn't it? Welcome aboard, Eric Flight. Good to see you. Let's get the external power removed, and we'll get the parking brake on.
Pre-flight checklist.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard this flight. We will remind
Nice.
you that all seat backs and tray tables need to be in the upright position. All carry-on items brought on board must be securely stowed.
I think you guys can hear the in-cabin announcements too.
Overhead bin. Prior to pushback from the gate, please ensure that your seatbelt is securely fastened. Personal cellular telephones may be used while parked at the gate with the main cabin door open. We will advise you when they must be turned on. For customers seated in a row of seats identified by the words, "No children this row," please review the white safety card in the seat pocket in front of you. The use of some portable electronic devices is prohibited while on board the aircraft.
Let's get the charts loaded.
You will be advised when the use of approved devices such as personal computers and compact disc players is permitted. A complete list of approved devices may be found in the magazine.
Terminal charts, and we're taking off on 1-4, which means I can probably push back tail facing south. Nose right, tail left. Let's go ahead and call it for pushback and close the door. Are we still loading cargo? Let me see. Looks like we're almost done. Okay, yeah, and again, I apologize for us not having outside noises. I guess we're gonna have to stay inside the cockpit for a while. But considering we're doing an oceanic flight, it's basically the way. Fuel pumps are on. Which fuel pump is that? I've already got the fuel pumps running, so that must be a fuel pump for something else. Air Amarok, my longtime friend, I am doing very well. We're going to be flying from Halifax to Iceland today, Halifax to Keflavik, for that matter. And I am taking a little break, but I have been trying to be as prodigious as I can with scenery development, and I feel like I'm making progress now, so I'm happy. I'm going to close the front door, and we're going to dismiss the jetway.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just closed the main cabin door. All personal cellular telephones must be turned off and stowed for the duration of the flight. Flight attendants, prepare doors for departure, cross-check, and verify straps.
Okay, we are undocking. We're already on the APU, and I'm going to get my center panel set for, I would say, probably 20 nautical miles for now. And you about 2 nautical miles. Yeah, so we're going to backtrack on runway 14, and then we're going to get out of here. Let's request pushback. I'm very happy with the performance for this game today. I'm happy. And I'm waiting to see, are we going to get anybody coming up to give us a pushback? I thought I requested. Oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? Did my coaxial go kaput? Air north. Here we go. It hiccuped a bit, but we've got our friend coming on over to give us a push. Oh, now I'm actually getting sounds again. Good, good. Okay, the sounds that I was missing were from GSX. That's on my TV. Unfortunately, I can't change that. We are going to Keflavik in Iceland. Well, let's go ahead and close those cargo doors. We don't need them anymore. Okay, now we are closed for cargo on the right side, closed for cargo on the left. All right, and we're seen twice. Nose right, tail left. Parking brakes released. All right, we got the clock going. And here we go, engine number 2.
Okay, starting engines.
Go ahead from cockpit.
Clear to start engines.
Roger. Clear to start engines.
Start both engines.
You can, I think, actually, so we will. Can I do this with the... All right, let's start up engine number 1. There we go, both engines are coming up. And let's get TCAS going as well. Parking brakes set. Both engines look pretty good. If not, I am offline. I probably could fly on VATSIM because I don't think there's anybody in Iceland, but I think I'm just going to be offline for today. All right. Looks like our friend is getting out of the way. Let's get the taxi light on. Let's go flying, folks. All right, so one final check of systems. Let's check our flight controls. We have full left, full right, full left again, full right again, full forward, full back, full left, and full right rudder deflection. I'm trying to remember which button actually activates the spoilers, but I don't think I have one set. Oh, here we go. That's full activation. So we're good. And I will put, I guess you could put spoilers on for departure or arm them for departure. And we will do speed brake, I'm sorry, auto brake RTO when we get going. But I think we're okay. Excuse me. I think we're okay at this point. Fuel, we should be fine. And let's go ahead and switch back to our ND display. All right, folks, about 4 minutes in from the pushback, and we are good to go. Let's get rid of the parking brake and begin our taxi. I will take a look at charts for Halifax as we start rolling. We will most likely use hotel to November and then take off on 1-4. Okay, am I missing anything? We can turn the APU off for one. And generators are on. Flight computers are calibrated. All the fuel pumps are running. Got taxi light on. Think we're okay for now. Looks like we have some, I think, some static vehicles, because I don't remember seeing that that plane actually depart the gate. But that's okay. I like static aircraft every once in a while. Give airport a little bit of life. Hopefully this is a taxiway suitable for my aircraft. But this is a 788, not a 78X. Okay, wing lights on for safety. Oh, it doesn't work that way? Oh, you know what? This version of the scenery must be old. It's okay. Like I said before, we'll backtrack if we have to. And it looks like we have to. All right, so we'll go out this way. Which taxiway was that? Was that hotel? That was hotel. I wasn't paying attention. Whoops. It's okay. Maybe I should make a DIGI fail emote. Okay, taxi light's on, and we have the wing light on. And we have our spoilers armed. But you know what the problem is? This airport doesn't seem to have November set. We'd be taxiing down that way now. But that's okay. It just means we're going to be going down the runway instead. All right. Lights should be on at this point. We will back taxi down 1-4 and we will get out of here. Maybe I'll hack this airport to include the missing taxiways. Who knows? Maybe. Okay. Does this plane have a chrono button? I don't think it does. At least I don't recall. All right. RTO is set. Let's go ahead and get the plane turned around, and we're going to go ahead and fly out to Keflavik. Give me the winds. Yeah, 177. 177 at 7. So, good enough for me, folks. Set up for departure. Set the parking brakes real quick, and I will check and see. We have 7,700 feet of runway, so it's going to be a flap 15 departure with full takeoff. All right. Sit back and relax, folks, and enjoy our flight. We're going to be going to Keflavik. Here we go. We're good. Of course, it would help if I had flaps.
80 knots. Check.
B1.
Rotate.
All right, rotation slowly.
Positive rate.
Gear up. $500. Autopilot.
on.
Autopilot in command.
Flaps 5. Flaps 1.
Pretty windy. Let's bring the flaps back in.
Flaps up.
All right. Spoilers disarmed. Flaps up. Gear is up. And off we go. All right, we've got LNAV and VNAV. It's taking us out. And
With our flight underway, I'd like to once again welcome you aboard. I'd also like to offer a special welcome to our Quality Club flight. You'll be earning valuable miles on your flight today. If you're not a member, please visit us at qlinksend.com. In just a few minutes, we will be beginning our complimentary meal and beverage service in both first class and coach. In coach, beer, wine, and margaritas can be purchased with a debit or credit card. We apologize if we do not accept cash. In-flight entertainment available on this aircraft includes audio and video on demand as well as Wi-Fi, all included free of charge. The flight attendant will be coming through the aisles with complimentary headsets. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
I know, it's such a nice livery. It's my favorite. All right, level change. And up she goes.
After takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist, we have gear up, flaps up, spoilers disarmed, nose light can come off, wing lights can come off, and strobe lights on. Okay, OAT right now is what? 5? No ice reported. I think we're doing good, chat. Almost 900,000. I think we'll probably accelerate to 2x speed once we get to either cruising altitude or once we get past flight level 270. Okay, almost through the clouds.
Ladies and gentlemen, the use of approved portable electronic devices is now permitted.
Looks so beautiful up here. Yes, it does. Looks complex, but not dangerous. Look at those cirrus clouds. They're seriously good. This is prepared version 5.3. Just checking my sound levels. I'm going to bring the sound down a little bit. That should be fun. Come on, Eric. Did you seriously think I'd skip that opportunity? Oh, man. It is always theoretically possible that you can throw on volumetric clouds in P3D V5.3, but I like the two-dimensional sprites. And the reason why is because I do not believe the volumetric clouds model flat cirrus or like the really high thin clouds well in P3D, and I kind of feel like they still haven't nailed it in MSFS. But I mean, you know, I'm picky about stuff like that, so there I go. Okay, we took off from Halifax, and unfortunately we didn't do this airport justice, so if we ever come back here, I'm going to do my best to present a nicer picture of it to you. Let me just zoom in on the flight plan, and we are well on our way out of here. We are flying up the, I guess you could call it the isthmus to the Moncton VOR. That's Yankee Quebec Mike. And then eventually we will be on our way up past Newfoundland. Let's go. Congratulations, man. That's great. Yeah, yeah. And of course, guys, please understand. It's okay for you to disagree with me. If you like the clouds perfectly as they are in MSFS, that's great. That means you have an opinion. I'm happy with that. I think somebody mentioned that something happened with the weather system when they integrated the Xbox release into the MSFS code. I don't remember and I can't be too sure. Based on what I've seen flying P3D versus MSFS, the 2D sprites sometimes get the display or the appeal of some of the clouds, in my opinion, more realistically. But also, something strange happened. I started letting NVIDIA's GeForce Experience AI pick the graphics settings for me for MSFS. I did that on my last flight, my last stream, and not my last stream, but I'm saying the last time I flew on stream in MSFS, and it was actually pretty nice. And I almost feel like low quality clouds are more realistic than the ultra quality clouds in some aspects. I mean, I wasn't flying around thunderstorms, so I don't know. But like I said, your mileage will vary, so it's okay. We are past transition altitude, so I'll go standard. And you want to know what? If you guys don't mind, I think I'm going to go ahead and kick up double speed. That way we don't spend 4+ hours on the way to Keflavik, and it turns into a regular stream time. So I'm at double speed now. I'd better remember this, otherwise landing is going to seem really exciting. At least live weather feels more natural than weather force. You know what? You might be right. You might be right. I don't have Rex weather force for P3D, but I don't know. I have active sky for V5, and I like how weather is modeled. Do I know everything that I want to know about the weather system in P3D? No, I don't. Do I have an idea of what I want? I think somewhere between active sky and the weather system available in X-Plane. But again, it's not something I'm particularly overly concerned about. Let's take a peek outside. Again, I was flying at a higher resolution before, but when I tested the frame rate before we left Halifax today, I noticed that the higher resolution I choose, the lower my frame rate gets. I used to think resolution didn't impact performance in P3D, but I guess I was wrong. And look at that. Look at that. We got some turbulence right now. Yep, a little bit. Bing bong. I tell you, Air Amaruk, Iceland just beat out a flight out of Europe to Iceland because I bought the Halifax scenery and the Keflavik scenery for P3D today. I was tempted to fly the 717 out of Vagar or Vagar to Keflavik. It wouldn't have been that long, and I would have probably flown the entire trip in real time. Not real time, normal speed. I'm double speed right now. It looks like I'm going real fast, I know, but it's also level 2. All right, we're going to do 40 nautical miles on this one, and we're going to do, I think, 160 here. Okay, so I think we just went past Moncton. And we're off. You need to correct that. Well, are you talking about in the sim or in real life? Because, I mean, either would be a great flight, especially in real life, of course, to go check out Iceland. That would be a bucket list trip for me, I think. Well, I mean, I talked about going to Alaska for a while, and I was very grateful to actually be able to go. It was an unbelievable experience. Unbelievable. Hmm. Do we have weather? Let's see. Let me check. Weather, traffic, data. It doesn't look like we do. Yeah. At this point, with the experience that I had with my trip to Alaska, I would recommend anyone that wants to visit to do a tour. I mean, if you've been there several times already, then this conversation is not for you. You can do whatever you want. The only reason I'm even mentioning this is because last summer was the first time I actually visited Alaska, period. So I got to go on a land and sea tour. I flew into Fairbanks, and then we basically traveled down from Fairbanks to Anchorage over the period of a few days, over the period of a week. And I went from Anchorage to Cantwell, Cantwell to Talkeetna, Talkeetna to Anchorage, and then Anchorage down to Whittier for the cruise down to Canada. Ooh, Norway. That's fantastic. I hope you enjoy that. I, what am I trying to figure out? I would like to go visit Ireland with Mrs. Digi, and I would like to, I think, visit a few other places in Europe oh, sheesh, bucket list trip, Japan. But if we're talking about Europe, I would like to go visit Ireland. I would like to go to probably France and either France or Spain, and maybe at some point Italy. But I'm not in a humongous hurry to uh, to get there. I know there's some things that I want to do first. Let's get the seatbelt signs turned off. And 14-day road trip, Oslo, Trondheim, back south to Bergen. Nice. And then back to Oslo. That sounds
Once again,
superb.
ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is the captain. We've just leveled off at our cruising altitude. We are expecting smooth conditions, but as always, we'd like to remind you that while you are seated, keep your seatbelts fastened in case we encounter any unexpected turbulence. Right now, the computer is still showing us an on-time arrival. I invite you to sit back and enjoy the onboard service. I'll give you updates on the weather and our progress a little bit further down the line. Thank you.
We're essentially doing, I think, max cruise for a 788. If I was flying a 789, I might be closer to Mach 0.9. But this is pretty fast. Ground speed is almost 500 knots, if not for the 93 knot crosswind. So we got a little bit of turbulence. It seems worse than it is because I'm at double speed right now, but I am enjoying myself. Hopefully you guys are as well. Hello again to everybody, and happy to have you guys as we fly to Keflavik today in P3D. That's cool. That's cool. When I traveled last summer, part of the things that I enjoyed were looking at nature and also getting a little bit of history and definitely enjoying the food. I had so much salmon and I enjoyed it. There's multiple kinds of salmon too, which I learned, but the food on the trip was superb. The opportunities to check stuff out were great. And overall, I like the land portion of the trip. I still say I like the land portion of the trip better than the sea. But it was 2 incredible weeks, and I'm very happy that I got the chance to go with family. So I do not regret a second of it. Do I want to go back? Oh yeah, at some point, maybe in the not too distant future. I just know it's not inexpensive to go, so it would need to be something that I do. Let's shut off the center fuel tanks. And now we are just getting fuel from the wings. I am checking right now, and we are almost at the GASP VOR, Yankee Golf Papa. And then we've got 2 more waypoints before we actually start getting oceanic. And that would be the, I'd say, first third of our trip done, which is superb. Double time with our clock. We've been flying for about, I'd say, 35 minutes, a half an hour minimum, which is great. Give me just a bit, folks. I'll be right back. All right, friends, sorry for that. I just wrapped up the rest of my afternoon snack, and we are well on our way to Iceland today. We're almost off of New Brunswick, and we have probably another 5 or 10 minutes, I'd say, of accelerated time before we get to beginning our oceanic portion of the flight. We're going to kind of cut across the bottom portion of Greenland before we get back to open ocean in the North Sea, and then we're going to get to basically beginning our descent and approach into Iceland. Looks like one of my friends is awake. Both my cats went down for a nap while I was getting the stream ready this afternoon, and they've been hanging out here with me for a while. And now it looks like we are back to having at least one of them up and at him, although he looks a little tired. I don't blame you, bub. I think I might go normal time in a little bit and actually make myself some coffee and then get back into the flight deck. But right now, let me put this in normal time. See how bad the winds are. You can tell we're dealing with some winds right now. It's kind of dope, but at the same time, it's a struggle. The wing is definitely bending. Definitely. Wow, the sunlight coming off of the fuselage, man. It's so realistic. Hey, you can definitely see the bend now. Gear view, I think. Great view of the flight deck. Actually, this is a pretty good screenshot, actually. I'll take that now. It's a great shot, too. Wow. Actually, I think I like that screenshot more than the other one. And you can definitely tell from this view how much wind we're getting. So, there we go. Welcome aboard, everybody. We are well on our way to Keflavik, and at this time, we, I think, are still in We left New Brunswick, and I think we're crossing back over into Quebec, if we haven't already left it. I think we're either just like on the border or we're coming into Newfoundland already. Which one's Newfoundland and which one's Labrador? I forget. But whatever the case may be, we are definitely up in altitude. And how fast are we going, actually? Let's see. Now we're past 500 knots, which is cool. We're 514 with a 77 knot quartering tailwind. Oh. Wow. The wind's up here. Did we pick the right flight level? Let me take a look at active sky. Weather control, conditions, flight plan, scenarios. No. We've got gusting winds. All right, so wind. Let me take a look at the wind map. Can I see wind, please? It's not going to show me wind. No precip either. Nope. That's okay, though. That's fine. Also, take a look at these clouds. Dude, are you serious? Look at how high up they are. Cloud tops at 41,000? That would be weather. I'm not sure why my active sky screen wasn't picking it up, but I'm probably using it incorrectly. That's incredible. Let me just check and see what my cat's up to. Sometimes one or both of them like to get into mischief. Some of you might have pets that are like that. You go over and they look at you and they're like, I'm not doing anything. Like he is right now. Uh, all right, let me check something. I'll be right back. It's actually pretty interesting. I've been on oceanic flights in the sim, you know, before. Not officially, not with like CPDLC and stuff, but I've checked stuff. I mean, I've had fun flying across the Atlantic, but I've never had this much wind. Okay. Looks like the drink I ordered a little while ago is almost done, so that's going to clear me for like coffee later. And then clear direct bathroom. I mean, you know, Water goes through you, doesn't it? So, where are we? We are definitely in the Newfoundland Labrador area, and we are on our way to the Borub waypoint, after which we're going to be going to Yankee Delta Papa, and then crossing between Canada and Greenland. And then we're going to have coordinates for a portion of the flight before we actually get to the vicinity of Iceland, which is, again, really trippy. Now, let me take a look at the approach for, excuse me, the arrival for Iceland. We're going to want to get down to 3,000 feet for our approach into Keflavik, and that's going to give us the arrival portion of the flight is literally about 45 nautical miles. Thank you so much for stopping by, Air Amarik. A privilege to have you on board. Folks, please give Air Amarik a follow if you have not done so yet. Longtime friend of the channel and puts out wonderful content on Twitch. Take care, my friend, and rest well. God bless you. So, if we only have 45 nautical miles on the flight plan, and I gotta go from 41,000 to 3,000 feet, that means a little bit less than 39,000 feet is going to be our drop. 36,000 would be, let's see, 130 nautical miles, which means somewhere between Gistu and Girug, this is a 60 nautical mile hop. So even before we get to Gistu, we're probably going to be beginning our descent. But let me take a look at the ILS approach and see how far out it is. 5 nautical miles at Kilo Foxtrot India 10. We need to be at 2,200 feet. The ILS beam goes out to 1,800 feet and then comes in. So basically, we need to be 1,800 feet at Madax, and then we begin our drop. Take care, Eric. See ya. Which effectively gives us, let's see, 8, 53, 113 nautical miles, which means roughly 15 to 20 nautical miles out from Gistu, we're going to begin our descent into Keflavik. Now we have got plenty of time, even at double speed, to consider that. I am also considering going like quadruple speed to get there faster, but double speed I think is okay for now, and hopefully it won't take us too long to get there with this route. It gives me a chance to put down the controls and to check some other things out. You won't hear the cabin noises for now, but you should still hear the sim. I'm going to check. Ooh, that's interesting. I was just checking out a one of the flight trackers that you can see. There was a Air Emirates flight that came in from from the Middle East, and it was an A380. It looked like they actually had to go around, and there was a go around in place, and now it looks like they are doing west stops instead of landing east, which is pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. Hmm. That's kind of dope. Yep, they're certainly parked up now. I think right around somewhere like 7 or 8 o'clock, that's when we're going to start seeing all the flights get ready to to start departing for Europe. That's pretty neat. Oh, okay. No, no, no. Yeah, they are departing to the west now. I'm looking at JFK in case anybody's curious. That's pretty dope. Turn on the dome light for a moment. Just want to make sure. I'm taking a look around the cabin actually for the first time. This is pretty neat. You can tell this is kind of big. You've got 2 jump seats in the back, and the flight deck overall just seems spacious. I know it's not that big, but it seems pretty big. It seems pretty big to me. Okay, superb. Looks like the turbulence that we were dealing with earlier we passed. So, left click turns it left, right click turns it right. I see. I think that's the same with all the other options. I could be wrong. Okay. Ooh, ooh. We've got weather. Look at that. So that would mean that we're going to be seeing it off of our right side. It should be off on the horizon somewhere. So I am guessing that it would be either directly over us or off that way somewhere. Actually, no, probably off this way. But I tell you what, while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to go ahead and fire up one of my Raspberry Pi machines and mess around with it for a little bit. So I don't think you guys are going to see the window right now, but I can share it. I've done some programming in Python from last year into this year, and I think I'd like to continue it. I enjoy programming recreationally, and it is something that I do for a living in real life. And let me see if I can load something fun. I don't know if I'm going to make something right now, but oh, okay, I see. There we go. I'm going to run something on my computer, not the desktop. I'm just running something on the Raspberry Pi Zero that I have. I'm curious to see if this actually works. Ah, good, good. It does work. Hmm. I might actually use the Pi Zeros that I have for some hands-on projects because they don't have that much memory and they only have one core. So I would probably want to use them for something which is less taxing. Hmm. Let me open up a different one. That one I don't think is that powerful, but I kind of like using it. I'm going to turn on my Pi 4. If you lose my audio, it's just because I temporarily switched over to a oh, that is a weather system over there. That's cool. I'm gonna turn on one of my other computers and it might take over the screen. If it does, then I'll switch back. And I'll close that. How far along are we, actually? Let's see. I'm gonna take a look outside real quick. Wherever we are, I don't think I've ever flown around here. Is it Alt F3 that does something with screens for me? This looks a little too... Oh, never mind. Yeah, I think it was Alt F3 that let me choose different color filters. I think I can also dynamically set that inside the game. Let me see. Saturation and brightness, auto exposure, water detail views, shadows. Interesting. I didn't know I could tab through these. Huh. It's okay. I still like the graphics in this, even if they feel like they get a little too blue. I'm fine. I'm also at altitude. We're like flat level 410 at this point, so it makes sense if things are colored differently in the atmosphere that we're in. Oh, yeah. Also, don't need the lights anymore. Okay. So I forgot to turn the landing lights off, but otherwise, strobe is the only light that's supposed to be on. And I think we're okay. I think so. How's our fuel looking? Fuel should be here. Okay. We are well on our way. Well on our way. And where am I on the map? Ooh, here we go. We are just about to cross, I think it's called Maine, M-A-I-N, and that's Yankee Delta Papa. And we just crossed over it. So we are about to get feet wet for our first big chunk of water crossing. Our first big, like, humongous chunk of water crossing. The next landmass that we'll see when we go feet dry is going to be Greenland. And then the next landmass that we'll see when we go feet dry will be when we land in Keflavik. So already we're almost halfway through the trip. And double speed turned out to be a very, very good idea. I'm not going to fly back to Halifax unless I choose to do quadruple speed, which I could theoretically do if I really wanted to, but I think I'm going to call it once we land at Keflavik, and we'll try to take a better look around there than we did when we left Halifax. But thanks to everybody that tuned in and watched. Thank you if you're still watching and you're just lurking. My algorithm appreciates you, and so do I. I am keeping myself entertained with occasional glances at the map and tracking some real-world traffic that's actually looks like it's just departed out of JFK. JetBlue flight 2293. I don't know if I can find out much about the flight itself. I just know they're flying south. Also, there is a Hawker Beechcraft, Hawker 750 or 850, that took off from Boston, believe it or not. I wish there was a way that I could take the ADS-B data that I receive and inject it into the sim, but unfortunately, I can't figure it out just yet. The day I do, though, that's gonna be supreme. Okay, we are definitely feet wet here. Oh, look at that. That's pretty neat. Okay, while I'm waiting, I'm going to go ahead and update some software on my other computers. Huh. Starting to get tired. I think I need to go ahead and re-up with some coffee. Looks like we've got some updates coming in, so I am going to get my other computer loaded as well, and we're going to take a look at that as well. There we go. I did it wrong before. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing I'm doing on the other Pi, which is update the software. Okay, it looks like I didn't need... It looked like I needed it, but I guess I didn't. On my Pi 4, I did need to update some stuff, so I'm working on that right now, which I'm happy about. And look at these clouds. Hmm. It's interesting how the two-dimensional sprites get drawn. That's kind of cool. We're definitely in the Greenland crossing now. All right, folks, let me do this. I've been flying for a little while. I think I'm going to go ahead and stretch my legs for a moment, get some coffee, and check in with Mrs. Digi and see how she's doing. By the way, for those of you that have been thinking and sending lots of support our way, thank you. Um, I am pleased to inform that Mrs. Digi's post-op stitches have been removed, and she is in what I'd like to call the second phase of recovery. Although there are some challenges which are presenting themselves, overall, I feel like we're still trending towards better recovery, and I'm hoping that that means that she'll be able to get around really easily very soon. Again, thank you to everybody that's reached out online and sent their support and encouraged us. Thank you. I am, Lord willing, looking forward to seeing Mrs. Digi getting around a lot quicker than she has over the past couple of years. I'm going to get up and make myself some coffee because I'm feeling myself really tired. So I think I'm going to leave this view or an outside view. Let me see what the sound's like on the outside. Doesn't really seem like much of a difference, actually. So we'll leave this view for now, and I think I'm going to check it back in with you guys in about maybe 2 to 5 minutes or so, which should give me enough time to whip up a cup of coffee, grab a snack, and then hopefully get ready for the rest of the flight and our arrival into Keflavik. So sit back and relax, and please feel free to enjoy the flight. Be right back. Hello, folks. I am back, and we are almost to Greenland. At this rate, I think we're gonna make Keflavik by about 6:45 my time. I'm Eastern time in the States. I don't know if it will still be daylight, because today's sunlight forecast, so to speak, sunset's going to be somewhere around 7:40 something in the afternoon. I don't know. I don't know. I do know that we have more weather off the side, which is kind of neat. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's been a while since I've sat down and really looked at the two-dimensional clouds in P3D, and I don't think these are volumetric. I don't think so. Because again, if they were volumetric, I don't think I would have seen the flat cirrus clouds that we saw when we were coming up. So I'm pleased with what I see right now. Looks nice outside. We dealt with some winds on the way up from Halifax, but now it looks like we've got smooth sailing up here. And you can't see the ground, but we're going to be feet dry probably in about a minute or two. And then we've got a wider expanse of sea that we're going to be crossing through on the way down into Keflavik. And then that'll be it. Okay. Looks like the liquids which I have consumed have now asked me to do something. So let me get up and I'll hop right back on the flight deck after a quick break. All right, folks, I am back, and it looks like we're coming up on a teensy bit of turbulence, so I'm going to kick up the seatbelt signs. Winds right now are coming across the bow the other way. They are from the south at 32 knots, and we're about 500 knots ground speed, which isn't bad, really. Just the turbulence that's been a bother on this flight, which is kind of nuts. Actually, let me see if I can tell when we're going to get to our intended destination. Do I see that? Okay. Progress is 16:15 for Keflavik. And where are we right now? We're 14:52, so we've got about an hour and change. Yeah. So sounds like roughly 7 o'clock my time is when we'll get there. And I think we just made landfall in Greenland. Superb. I am pleased. Let's see how my other things are done, updating themselves. Right, the one didn't have to be updated at all. And what about you? You're done updating. That's great. That's interesting. I try to access my Raspberry Pis remotely, but the one seems to deal with rendering a lot better than the other, and I'm not sure why. So let me try something. I'm going to switch the resolution and see whether or not the resolution actually controls how well or how poorly everything looks. Nope. That's weird. Whatever. It also seems like the smaller and less powerful computer is more performant for displaying its information, which just seems so backwards. You would think the Raspberry Pi Zero would be the one that really struggles with rendering things. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. Huh. That's actually kind of weird. Meanwhile, we are bouncing back and forth. So let me think. I think we're more than halfway at this point. Because if it's taken me... How long have I been streaming for? 2 hours and 13 minutes so far. So it's taken me roughly, I would say, an hour and a half to get to this point. Maybe an hour and 15 minutes. I think we might be able to get into Keflavik in the next hour. We might. I'll see. Wow. That's amazing. I've lived in the northeastern or the mid-Atlantic states for a while now, and I like looking at airports like Boston, JFK, Newark, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Dulles. Um, Although I like looking at, say, New York and Boston. Boston predominantly because I've flown so many times out of that airport in the sim, and I know what I know what the experience of coming into Boston in a sim is like. I mean, of course, in real life, much more so. But point being that there's such an adventure coming in, usually because of the way that you come into Boston if you're flying in from the south. But so much traffic coming into Newark right now. LaGuardia at JFK. LaGuardia, you've got Delta coming in. Poro to the top. You didn't know that I had P3D? Well, congratulations. Now you do. Welcome aboard, my friend. Happy to have you. I am flying in P3D. I'm in accelerated time right now. I'm flying double speed from Halifax in Nova Scotia to Keflavik in Iceland. I've been flying. I did some tweaks to my setup, and I'm enjoying the trip. Also, the Quality Wings 787 cockpit and systems are fully operational, which makes me happy because I like the sounds that the sim makes, the sounds that the Quality Wings plane makes, and I've been enjoying myself. Yeah, yeah, I like the plane. I like flying the 787-800. I call it the sports sedan of the family. It's just big enough to completely just power through, medium to long hauls. It's got the slowest speed, I think, of the family, but it's certainly, it looks like and almost I don't know if I could say that it feels nimble, but it looks like it'd be able to handle itself. So I am pleased. I'm pleased. I'm also very happy to have you aboard, friend. Thanks for coming on by. I think we have like another hour to go, and then we're going to arrive in Keflavik. The only less than pleasing part of this whole trip has been that I wanted to get the demo scenery installed for Iceland in the sim, and for some weird reason, it I couldn't actually install it. Maybe it's because I'm using P3D V5 instead of V4, and it just wouldn't let me. It would not let me. What am I trying to say? It wouldn't let me install it. Land Rover Defender. Uh, Hey, I flew the 787-10 a lot when the heavy division mod was available for the 787 and MSFS. Like, the first couple of years it was out. And then the Kuro mod came in where you could fly the 788, and now there's a Horizon mod in Microsoft Flight Sim where you can fly the 789. But I'm a big fan of the 788, and I have been for a long time. So all I can say is that I enjoy flying it a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot. And let's take a look and see what the flight plan looks like right now. Yeah, we're directly overhead the southern tip of Greenland, and we're going to go back to being feet wet again for the final portion of the flight and our arrival into Keflavik. It's been cool. I've said hi to some folks, and now I'm talking to you. I like it. Hmm. What was I gonna do? I don't know. I don't know. After the flight today, I think I'm gonna go ahead and either help Mrs. Digi make dinner, or we're gonna take care of some business in terms of helping her process some things electronically, and then come back here after a little while, and I might work on some coding for fun, or I might do a flight in the new, in Microsoft Flight Sim as opposed to P3D. I think it'd be cool to fly a 787 in real life. I think it would also be cool to fly a 737 700 or 600, um, maybe a Max 8, and go medium hauling across the states. I also haven't done nearly as much flying in like Europe or South America or Africa as I should. So the odd stream every once in a while where I go flying is probably going to be a P3D stream, and it's probably going to be in areas I don't know, like like Argentina or Brazil or Cape Town or East London or flying past Kilimanjaro or going to Kenya or going to Ethiopia. You know, I used to fly the A319 so much in X-Plane, especially back in the day when I was, building ortho and just enjoying the experience. Hey man, if that's what you enjoy doing, go for it. I don't think I do as much GA as I should. I think one day I would like to get a private pilot's license, so I'm certainly going to have to get comfortable with the idea of doing lots of ops in small planes because I'm never going to be type rated. I mean, I'm never going to become an airline pilot. I'm certainly never going to be type rated in a 747 or like, a 787, unless, of course, I put in the time and the work required to actually do that, which would be cool. I think I think the biggest airplane that I would ever want to be type rated in would probably be a Challenger 300 or a Falcon 50, maybe a 7X. But again, that assumes two things. That assumes money and that assumes opportunity. The licenses do not come cheap, and I haven't even begun a an education program. So let's put it this way. If it happens, superb. If it doesn't happen, it's all right. I wasn't expecting it. But these days, between working IRL as a software developer and doing things like trying to do scenery development on the side and take care of the family, I realize that time goes by pretty quick. So it's difficult to it's difficult to commit and know that you have the energy to actually commit to stuff. So I'm trying to take it one step at a time. I'm trying to definitely enjoy what I have, but I'm still trying to shoot for, big dreams. I am very much a pursuer of passions. So the Challenger 300, I think, would be a great plane to fly or to, own, whether partly or fully. I like the way it looks. I flew it a lot in X-Plane, and I'm a fan. But I also significantly like the Embraer Phenom 100. It's one of my favorite business jets of all time. It just edges out the Learjet 45 as one of my absolute favorite business jets of all time, period. It's a small little plane. It takes like four, maybe five passengers, and it's got a respectable range for a tiny, light business jet. You could probably circumnavigate the globe if you knew where to fly. So, suffice it to say, I like the plane. I just if I was in a position where I had that plane and that rating and I could fly wherever I wanted, I'd probably I wouldn't be able to go everywhere in the world with it because there's some places where the distance between legs would be too great. Well, thank you, Poro. I really appreciate that. I tell you what, I might hit you up in messages on Discord or on your Discord later because I'm curious about what it would take to get from knowing nothing to having a basic private pilot's license. That'd be my first step. And I already know it's not going to be inexpensive. I'm guessing, based on the part of the country where I'm at and the training options that are available, I would say step one, having having my medical, having ground school, having time up in the air in a plane and getting a pilot's license that way, I would probably at a minimum spend somewhere between 6 to 8 grand. I'm assuming. And that's assuming that I have the money. I'm sorry, that the insurance coverage that I have will take care of it. Yeah, yeah. Stay tuned. Definitely. I think I'm going to pick your brain about that very soon. I don't think I'm in a position where I could, go fully into that right now, but I definitely am curious. So I will be talking to you about that later. Flight Sim Stream, hello, welcome, my friend. We are on our way to Keflavik. I'm flying in prepared at double speed, and we took off from Halifax, Nova Scotia. I want to say about an hour and a half ago. I got another, I think, 45 minutes to an hour before we get into Keflavik. Thank you, Poro. I will, definitely. We're flying the Quality Wings 787-800. This is the Air Canada Red Leaf livery, which I like so much. I have had a Air Canada livery for the 787-10 in the first few years that I was flying MSFS. And I gotta tell you, I haven't lost my desire to fly this plane. I like it. Okay, earlier I was going to do a little bit of game playing on stream, but the opportunities literally passed by. So we're on the final leg of the trip. I'd say the final third, and somewhere between the last waypoint, the last coordinate, and Gistu, we're going to start planning our descent. Once we pass the next waypoint, we're going to start getting ready to drop. And let's take a look at our systems right now. We've got 54,800 pounds of fuel that we're burning through, and we should have more than enough to make the landing into Keflavik safely. For our arrival, we will be taking the G-Rug 3 Mike arrival. And it's literally like a 45 nautical mile-ish combination of legs, which takes us directly into the ILS Zulu approach for runway 10. I couldn't be happier. It's basically a set it and forget it approach. If we have to go divert, we're going to be going to Akureyri, which is Bravo India Alpha Romeo. I've never taken a look at that airport. Hopefully I won't have to today. But so far so good. Oh, wait a minute. Where do I want to be? I want to be at 3,000 and no lower at VSOX, which means just before Jistu, I'm going to be descending. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and set 3,000 on my MCP. And then that'll be ready so that when we get to top of drop, we'll be able to plan our arrival. Speaking of which, let's take a look and see if we can find top of drop. Yep, there it is. And just like I said, just before just do, we're going to begin our descent, which is cool. Lots of clouds, my word. If this becomes a thing, I think the next flight that I'm going to do is probably going to be between airports in either South America or Africa. I think I might fly from Kilimanjaro up to maybe either Jeddah or down to like East London or something. But it's gonna be another kind of like accelerated haul like this where we do double speed so that we don't spend that much time up in the air. And otherwise I could probably just do a smaller hop in the 717. And those I might reserve for, say, checking out places like Abu Dhabi or going to India somewhere or Sri Lanka or going to Southeast Asia and maybe flying to other airports. Yes, Quito. Quito. I can do a 717 up into Quito. I can probably fly into Santos Dumont in Brazil and probably do a Caribbean hop across the Leeward Islands up to Puerto Rico because I think I have the old Latin VFR Puerto Rico scenery installed as well, and I haven't flown out of there in a while. In P3D, I think they moved the airport already. In V5 at least. In FSX, the old airport was inside the city. If I'm not mistaken, I think they've moved the airport, but I could be wrong. Okay, but we're not that far away from our destination now, which is kind of cool. We're not that far away. It hasn't been that long since I picked up P3D. I've been flying it off and on more than a little bit, and I still like this ecosystem. I just know that it's expensive, but I mean, you buy enough add-ons in any simulator, and you're gonna rack up the purchase, the monies. You're going to go through your money pretty quickly. Is there anything I can look up right now, though? Let me think. Probably not. I'm trying to come up with a couple of projects that I can do with the Raspberry Pis that I have. I I I I'm debating creating software that will help me to randomly generate flights, choose from the aircraft that I have installed, and give me like in sim announcements through like sim connect or something, because there's a friend of mine that I follow on Twitch, Bryn MWR, BRYNMWR, and they don't talk on stream, but they've flown literally worldwide, and they randomly get their aircraft, they randomly get their flight, and they get in-game announcements, and I think they coded all of it. X-Plane is definitely a simmers community sim. Yeah, like I like that It's very much it's more there's more there's more room, I guess, there. But believe it or not, I haven't spent that much time in X-Plane 12 since I picked it up about a year ago. I probably should spend more time in it. Yeah, I debated the idea of actually doing Bitcoin mining with the Pi 4 that I have. But the problem is that the it's regulated, and I think you either have to I don't think you have to register it, but I think you have to either report that you're mining now in the States, or that you have to register it somehow. I don't know how that works, but however quickly the idea popped in my head, once I heard all that stuff, I was like, no, I'm good. So I think I'm going to use one for like a web server, maybe another for a maybe a network storage thing, and then when I back stuff up on a daily basis, I don't have to think about it much. But I'm I'm debating exactly how all that's supposed to work. So I'm trying to take the next step in terms of thinking about things. Yeah, yeah, you can do a lot, especially if you do it the right way. You can make great use of of your processing power. And what am I saying? You can. I think the next big step for me is going to be my next big step is going to be creating something I can take with me, like grabbing a Raspberry Pi Zero, attaching it to a power supply, and then like using it on the go, because the Raspberry Pi actually does not use a lot of power at all. The Pi Zero, like it does, I think, like maybe 200 milliamps under load. So as long as the screen and whatever else you're using with it don't consume a lot of power, you've got you've literally got a portable computer, which would be potentially more efficient than a smartphone, which is kind of absurd when you think about it. Potentially, at least. Right now, I'm having fun with one. It's getting ADS-B signals, and I'm taking a look at traffic coming into New York City, and there's so much traffic coming in right now to Newark, LaGuardia, JFK. There's traffic coming into, I think, White Plains, and yeah, man, it's fun to mess around with the data. I'm still toying with the idea of trying to figure out how to get the data to be fed into a flight sim. But I think somebody else might be way ahead of me on that topic. So I'm the kind of person that's not in that much of a hurry, that I'm willing to deal with the headaches involved with coding everything myself. I'll wait for somebody else to release it. But I do software development in real life too, so I might take the time to go over the data and figure out some way to feed it to my sim. But MSFS has real-time traffic already plugged in. It's just that it where there are gaps in the data, MSFS actually uses in-game behavior to model, so that the actual traffic does things on its own. At least I believe that's how it works. So, when an airplane in real, like a live traffic plane lands in MSFS, instead of the airplane disappearing because they lose the ADS-B signal, or transponder goes to standby, then I think the sim actually uses AI to tell it, okay, you're going to go to this date, this gate, park up, and you're done. I think that's how the logic works. And if that's the case, I mean, at least with a version 1, I'm not sure how I'm going to do much better than that. But it's okay. I'm going to focus on the things that I can focus on, and code the things that I think I'm going to enjoy. And part of that is going to be at least making my flying experience better. Maybe using one of my Raspberry Pis, which has a screen, to show like a fake, gate thing that says, "Hey, you're boarding. You better get going." So something like that would probably be a good target, like low hanging fruit to code and to do that, and then basically have it listen for certain events in the sim, like an AI company, A-Cars. That's another option. But if we're talking about something even simpler, like if I'm parked up at LaGuardia and I'm going to fly from New York to Buffalo, then if I'm flying like an Airbus A220 and I load into the airport, then there's a sim connect event that probably happens once you connect the jetway to the aircraft. Like, I could have a screen that says, "Hey, Delta flight 197 service to Buffalo, you know, now boarding." And then I can have it so that that sound file plays like in in the stream, like through a script or something, so that you can have these alerts that happen or these events that happen when the things happen in the game. Of course, that would mean that you would need to start your bot. You would need to feed your bot commands and know what commands play which files and all that stuff. It's probably a bit more involved than it's possible to do at the moment, but I'd be curious to follow through with that, at least so that I can have it happen inside my local computer, so that when I go in the terminal or that I push a button, it has that compiled message which would be read by the text to speech engine inside my operating system, whatever. That's the kind of thing that I want to look into more. And I think it's doable or something possibly worth pursuing, but I'll take a look at it briefly tonight if I have time and see if I can start getting things set up so that I can learn more about it. Again, for me, biggest problem right now is just making sure I'm in a good spot in terms of time and I've got everything set, taken care of, all that jazz. We are 40 nautical miles from top of drop. I think once we get to the point where we actually begin descent, I'm going to go back to regular time and we will fly normal speed down to the ground to Keflavik and call it a stream. Thank you to everyone that's come alongside for the ride today, even if it was just a quick hello. I am potentially going to fly out of Keflavik to, some destination at some point, but it won't be the next time I pick up P3D. I might be doing either South America or Africa to enjoy the scenery there the next time I hop into the sim. And if I do that, it'd probably be in the 717 or maybe a business jet, and then we'll see what happens. Also, I might take advantage of the opportunity to jump back into scenery editing in P3D just to update some airports slightly, like adding taxiways that aren't present in certain airports. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen anytime soon, but I'm kind of curious about it. Okay, 20 nautical miles. I think we can make ourselves go back to normal speed at this point. And now I'm going to double check myself. We've got the MCP set to 3,000 feet. I'm going to get my heading bug set to 100. And we're still LNAV, VNAV, autopilot. And we should begin our descent once that green dot gets close to us. And then we'll be going down to 3,000 feet, hopefully with restrictions, but I don't see any restrictions on the descent or the arrival. So I think we're okay at this point. I think we're okay. Let's see. 3. Yeah, in game time, we've almost been flying for 4 hours. I have been streaming now for about 2 hours and 45 minutes. I'm assuming in the next 45 minutes or so, we should be done. The next piece of landmass we see is going to be way out in the distance, and then we'll see it in front of us when we land at Keflavik. I'm pleased to see that we're not going to be landing in the dark because I want to take a look at the airport when we get there. But otherwise, man, we're in, or we're going to be in shortly. Here goes.
Ladies
Yo,
and gentlemen, please check that your seatbelt is securely fastened. To prepare for landing, it will be necessary to collect all service items, as well as any other items you wish to discard, such as newspapers.
there we go, folks. We've left flight level 410 and we're on our way down. Man, it doesn't even matter that I accelerated time. The moment that you get into a medium or long haul, when you start to see when you start to descend from your cruise altitude is such a great moment. I remember I don't remember the feeling per se, but I know that when I got the top of drop, when I did cross the pond eastbound for fun, not on VATSIM, when I got to, getting ready to descend and arriving in Heathrow, it was, that was enjoyable. Also, I did Los Angeles to Heathrow back at the beginning of the month, and I did it a split stream. So I took off from LA, and I think I got the stream somewhere around, I don't know, Utah or something. And then I came back in the evening when we were coming in down Scotland into Great Britain, and then basically landing. Frame rate's looking pretty good, and I think I'm going to keep it at least 1080p, maybe 1440p, and see if the increase in resolution is worth the cut in frame rate. But 1080p right now in this plane, with this smoothness and hopefully very few stutters on arrival into Keflavik, is going to make the entire thing worth it. Now, let me turn my panel lighting on for a moment, and I'll go ahead and run down the list of things in the center console. 109.5 for the ILS, course heading 102, and we are TARA. I think we're okay. And let me take a look at the airport charts for Keflavik. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I need to actually set my minimums. Barrowmans, we're going to be going for about 310 feet. And confirmed. And let's take a look at local pressure for Keflavik. Conditions are Cav okay. Temperature is 0. QNH is 1020. Winds are from the east at 17. Yeah, 1020. Let's go ahead and punch that in. There we go. All right, normal speed, and we are set for the arrival. $80 nautical miles on the center panel, and I'm gonna put, I think I'm gonna put 20 on my ND. Still got good fuel. Let's go ahead and plan our approach speed. We can probably pull this off with flaps 25, so I'll go ahead and choose that. I can't choose that? Yeah, I chose flap speed now, so we're good. Flaps 25 at 1.5. So ref plus 5 is going to be 155 knots. Wow. The engines are chilling out. I forget. I think it's Rex Skyforce that lets you actually replace the textures. I know I could not install the cloud textures that I had for FSX, so I could not install the Rex texture direct with soft clouds. But I think it was Skyforce that you could actually replace the cloud textures. As it is right now, the cloud textures that I see in the game right now are not. They're 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 sometimes not visually impressive based on what I've seen in terms of volumetric clouds, but also sometimes they're realistic, especially the high flat cirrus clouds that we had before on departure from Halifax. We are out of the Mach speed zone. That's flight level 270 and above, and pretty soon we'll be transitioning into local pressure. Speaking of which, what is the transition altitude? Transition level is by ATC, so I'm going to assume that when I get into the arrival phase, I'm probably going to set my pressure locally, which is pretty close. So it might be just around 18,000 feet when I actually do that. Iowa Scotsman, hello friend, welcome aboard. We are on our way into Keflavik after having taken off from Halifax earlier this afternoon. We're flying the Quality Wings 787-800, one of my favorite chassis or variants for this plane. We're pretty quiet on the way down. We're almost idle, but you can still hear the turbine spinning, as you can see. Wow. Look at that. I think I'll capture that actually. Screenshot for today's flight. So the flight time, I think, was supposed to be 4 hours and 17 minutes.
Descent checklist.
And I mean, block time is probably going to be like 5-ish hours. So in that sense, I'm still on time. All right, descent checklist. We've got, I'll set my local pressure after we get past the next waypoint. And we have our altitude set for the floor of our arrival into the ILS approach. Once we get to the ILS approach, we're going to need to go from, I think, 3,000 down to 2,200 and then 1,800, which means I'm going to need to switch this back to individual units. We have our nav ILS glide slope at the ready. We're not on frequency. And, well, we're not on VATSIM. And the green banana says we'll make 3,000 feet before we hit VSOX, so we're good. Again, disregard on the global pressure. We'll put local pressure once we get past GRUG. And we've got our minimums set for 310 baro mins. And for the ILS approach, in case we go missed, we go direct to 5 DME from the airport and then make a left turn to 328. I'm assuming probably to go back to Nanbo or VSOX and try it again. I think we're good. I think so. Wow, this is kind of a trip. We took off a couple of hours ago and we're like, hey, we're going to fly to Iceland. And I'm like, oh, it's going to take a while. And now we're almost there. And Lord willing, we will arrive. But if we don't, at least the trip has been great and the company has been wonderful. All right, FMC message. Are we going too fast? I'm not worried about descent speed just yet, but we are going to go local pressure first. We do need to slow down, so we're going to bring out the boards a little bit. Board meeting. Understood. Also, auto brake. For this airport, we're still going to do 3. We could probably even do auto brake 4. We're going to be landing a bit faster than, like, say, a 737 landing rate or something slower. So it's probably going to be wise to brake pretty quickly. And while we're checking, let's go ahead and take a look at the airport diagram. The international terminal is going to be all the way up at the top. So if we'll need to basically pull off at Mike 1 to Mike, Kilo 2 to Charlie 3, and then that will take me straight into the international terminal. So that's pretty good. I am okay with that. Okay, we were using boards. Speed brake is armed. And here we are, coming in through the clouds. Very nice. A nice welcome into Keflavik. I haven't actually visited this place in a long time. The last time actually I flew up to Keflavik was literally about, what, 5 years ago? It's crazy. Okay. So we're about to cross 10,000 feet. Let's get those landing lights on.
Approach checklist.
Approach checklist. We have our nav radio set. And we have our ILS altitude. And we are trying to get that green banana down to where VSOX is. But if we come at a little bit above 3,000 feet, that's fine. But we need to be, I think, at 1,800 for MADAX. It has to be 1,800. Like, that has to happen. So it should be the way. The approach course is going to be 102. And I would presume we're gonna climb back to 3,000 if we actually go missed. Good right now, though. If you could have those wispy cirrus clouds up at the top and somehow be able to inject volumetric clouds, the clouds overall I think would be very nice. But I'm okay. Speed brakes armed, auto brake 4. And wing lights up for safety. Okay, pretty close to where we need to be. Let's keep it up. Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, if you have too many 2D sprites, they're going to eat up your VRAM too. But I think they do it to a lesser degree, and I think it's just because of the how big the texture files are. If they're like, 1K, 2K textures, yeah, that might happen. But I like volumetric clouds, believe me. Me setting my volumetric quality to low was not something that I liked in MSFS, in the sense that I was like, but I want high quality. But NVIDIA was like, bro, but you want better frame rates, right? Nice. The 1660 did its job in terms of getting a lot of people over the hump. If I had a chance to get a 1660 to put in a very basic computer to do like AI with, I might use it. Are we going too fast still? Okay, we need to slow down. No, we don't. I mean, We do need to slow down, but we don't need to slow down that much. We're okay. We're okay, computer. Relax. Oro, the good thing about the GPU market right now, I'm going to go ahead and say, is that we're past the point where we are going to see are going to continue to see very expensive prices for GPUs. I think we're past the hump, unless we come into another problem with people building things. I think we're going to get to the point where we're going to have respectable graphics cards go back to being somewhere in the $300 to $400 price range. I was very fortunate when I got my graphics card for this, when I picked up my 3060 Ti, that I was able to get it at a respectable price with the PC build I'm currently using right now. So I'm grateful that I was able to actually get it, that I got any card to begin with. And the 3060 Ti definitely gets it done for me. It gives me great, consistent frame rate. I'm not going to complain. I think I think it might be difficult to find any kind of 2080 Ti for me on sale for an inexpensive price because, even now they're probably still pulling a pretty penny. But you would be, I mean, it sounds like there's some deals to be had, so I'm happy about that. Okay, I'm starting to see ground. There's the airport. I'm happy. I might even do some GA flying around here at some point. And we are coming down. We're going to be, we're not going to be anywhere near 3,000. So I'm going to keep descending to 1,800. And it needs to be 1,800 by MADAX. So I'm going to switch from VNAV to vertical speed. And we're going to descend at 1,600 feet per minute. And we're going to start slowing down to 180. And now we're going to activate approach mode. Approach mode, armed. All right, we've got localizer. Okay. These clouds look nice too. A little bit too bloomed up for my taste, but they look wonderful. It looks like a cold day out there. I'm happy with that. 2,500, let's start getting those flaps into place. Flaps 1. And since we're still going too fast, let's drop the gear. Nothing says landing quite like gear. That's impressive. Why are we not doing LNAV? LNAV localizer, please. Thank you. Flaps 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, in preparation for landing, please return all seat backs and tray tables to their upright and stowed position. Ensure all portable electronic devices are turned off and stow all carry-on items. Additionally, footrests and video monitors must be returned to their original position. Thank you.
Let's slow down to 170. Let's go flaps 15.
Flight attendants, please be seated for arrival.
Thank you, virtual first officer. Uh-oh, Erebus is having a say. And here we go. Also, we are descending. We're following the localizer, which means I can reset for my go-around altitude. I'll do ref plus 5.
Landing checklist.
Landing checklist. Cabin crew advised. Auto brake is 4. Flaps 25. Gears down. Speed brake is armed. Missed approach altitude is set. So, cabin crew advised. Landing gear down. Speed brakes armed. Flaps 25. Green light. Landing checklist complete.
1,000.
1,000 stable. There we go, friends. Little bouncy.
500.
500 my aircraft.
400. 300.
My throttles.
Minimums. Minimums.
Landing.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Very good. And down. Reverse green. Speed brakes up. 80 knots. Auto brake disarm. 60 knots. Beautiful. Welcome down, everybody. Welcome to Keflavik. Yeah, that doesn't normally happen for me, Poro. A good landing in the touchdown zone. I don't care if that was like minus 280. I don't even care if that was minus 300. That pays the bills. Okay, auto brake off. Autopilot disconnected. And
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be taxiing for the next few minutes, so please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. Check around your seating area, in the seat pockets, and overhead bins for all personal belongings that you brought on board. Please take care when opening the overhead bins, as the contents may have shifted during flight.
yeah, I'm extremely pleased with that landing. Very, very happy. And we are on Echo 4, and we're going to turn Kilo 2 to Charlie 3. Or I could just keep going this way and go right past the terminal and take a look at it. Dude, I'm so happy right now. Do you know what? Today was the very first time I used a heads-up display in the Quality Wings 787 to make an informed approach to the airport. I almost always fly without the HUD, and when I use the HUD, I don't really pay attention to it. So The problem is that with regards to, excuse me, with regards to the heads-up display, I don't pay attention to the data it's giving me, and I kind of use that today to help just keep the plane steady in. And when I heard the call out for 20 feet, that's when I cut the throttle, and that's when I started pulling back. Like I said, I don't care if it was like minus 250, if it was minus 280, if it was minus 310. The shocks are going to take up so much of the hit on the landing. As long as we're not trying to break the plane, 1, 2, 3, 4. As long as we're not trying to break the plane, I'm happy with like a minus 280, 285. I think there are some static aircraft here. I don't know if there are any planes that have been loaded in. It would be cool if there were AI planes. That would be cool. Okay, this is Charlie 3, so we are going to be turning right. And this is the first time I've looked at MK Studio scenery in P3D, at least as far as I remember. Okay, taxi lights off. And let's see, do I know whether or not that's gate 1 over there? I don't know what that is. I'm just going to go ahead and pull up to the gate, and then we're going to have GSX unload us. Let's see. Pitot, he can come off. Yeah, I'm happy. Yes, yes. Welcome aboard, my friend. We just got here. Flew in from Halifax, Nova Scotia, flying the Air Canada livery. And we are going to pull in. Before we do any of that, I'm going to see whether or not the terminal actually will accept my aircraft. I don't know. I might have used the wrong terminal, but let me just check. Allison Johnson coming in with a party of 33. Allison, thank you so much, my friend. We just arrived in Keflavik. But tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and request to follow me and just claim noob status. And we're going to take a kind of walking tour of this airport. Hey, good to see you. I just flew in the Quality Wing 787. We took off from Halifax a while ago. I'm going to get the airplane turned around because I'm going to use a follow me truck to get me to gate 14, which is where the gate is supposed to be. Viper Strike 95, thank you so much to follow. Welcome to the Digi fam. Definitely appreciate having you on board today, and appreciate having you guys all here. I'm grateful for the company. I am just wheeling this big bird around. Thank you so much. I lurked in your channel earlier this morning. I woke up and I made myself a quick brekkie. Mrs. Digi was sleeping and recovering from. We're in recovery from. It is in recovery from surgery, and she is feeling good. Lighting issues in V6, that sucks. All right, give me a bit. Give me a bit. I'm wheeling around to the plane. Here we go. There is that tiny little follow me truck, which I actually haven't used in a while, which is kind of fun. Cargo up from Indy to Reno. That's gonna take you a while. Okay. Okay. What? Allison Johnson, hello. Thank you so much for the gift sub to Dougal Tavish. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Enjoy those emotes. Some of my favorite emotes include the level 1 Flex SRS runway and landing no blue, which would be more appropriate to Airbus flights, of course. But thanks so much for the gift sub, my friend. Really glad to have you aboard. As you can tell, we are at MK Studios Keflavik, and We're getting an assist from the follow me truck because clearly I didn't know where I was going. I'm hopeful that gate 14 is an international terminal. And it looks like what? We're here already? Dude, seriously? We are here. Nice. Okay, here we go. I can't see the person. Maybe they're behind the bus. At any rate, whatever. Give me a bit. I'm going to cheat because I can't see anybody. And I'm going to go all the way up to the front because I can. Okay, folks, before we go ahead and start deboarding, I'm going to go ahead and also show you guys a replay because my friends have come in on a massive raid and I think you're deserving of it. So let's go ahead and go to instant replay. I think 5 minutes might be sufficient, but we're going to do 6. So D gates are international, and since I never went there, I don't know which ones they are. Okay, it's not that. I think it's like 8 minutes. So hold on. Let's do 10 minutes just to see where we are. Ooh, that's even better. I can see the houses coming in over the water. Look at that. Complete freedom. Hello, my friend. We just finished a medium haul from Halifax in Nova Scotia in Canada to Keflavik in Iceland. We left the both sceneries, I think, were by MK Studios. We left Halifax Stanfield Airport and we're landing at MK Studios Keflavik in Keflavik, Iceland. Welcome aboard, friend. Very happy to have you aboard. We're flying the Quality Wings 787 today, and we are watching a replay coming into BIKF on 10.
400. 300.
I tell you what, I could care about the landing rate. I'm happy to have you guys
Approaching
aboard.
Minimums. Minimums. 100. 50. 40.
It was a little bit of a crosswind landing.
20. 10.
Oh man, seriously? I can't ask for better than that. That was superb. That was absolutely superb. Let's go ahead and take a look at it from a different perspective. We'll do a in-cabin cam. Maybe 580.
Approaching minimums.
D gates, international passport control are below from the C gates, no passport control.
400.
Okay, just a teensy bit of stuttering. Honestly,
300.
I can live with that.
200. Minimums. 100.
So the lesson learned is that Digi's going to stream P3D in 1080p.
50.
And I think I have enough horsepower to
10.
make the stream 1080p as well. I'm extremely happy with all of this. very much. When you handle it right, the quality wings is such a champ. I've had issues with it from time to time. I think some of them, at least some of them, were my fault. But at the same time, flying into BIKF is definitely not something I do on a regular basis, and this was sincerely enjoyable. Hmm. How about one more just to see the reversers light up? Let's do 570.
Approaching minimums.
Oh, look at the reflections out there.
500. 400. 300. 200. Minimums.
I do think it was firm.
100.
So probably closer to minus 300 or minus
50.
310.
40. 30.
Wait for the boom.
20. 10.
Yeah, there we go. That wasn't a minus 150. That was pretty neat. So there we go. I can't tell you how pleased I am for the flight and for the company. I think that's going to do it for me for today. I would say look for me back on probably weeknights again. If I decide to do weeknight dev streams, I might make it such that you'll be able to tune in, but I won't be paying too much attention to chat. Or what I'll do is I'll come up with a system for letting you folks know, hey, this is a lab stream. Maybe I'll have a timer or something that I can count down on stream. I might experiment with that just so you guys know, like, for this time during the stream, I'm probably not going to be paying attention to chat, even if it's as simple as putting up a bitmap or like a flag or something that says, hey, in dev mode, when the flag is down, I'll chat and then I'll keep going because I'm trying to get multiple airports done, at least one right now. And I want to get to the point where I feel like I'm really building that muscle back up of creating the scenery, of working on models, kind of like the models that you see right there, and then getting to the point where I'm very happy with the progress. I would like to get to a place where I feel like I'm really knocking this stuff out. So I'm probably going to be doing that during the week, even if it's only a half an hour to 45 minutes a night. If it's if it's a half an hour or less, I definitely won't stream. If it's 45 minutes to an hour, there's a possibility that I might stream it. And then on the weekends, kind of like I'm doing right now, we'll do a flight either in MSFS or in P3D just to, enjoy things. But I gotta tell you, P3D can still shine like a new penny if you give it the chance. And today was definitely that chance. There's certainly things about P3D that don't compare to the new graphics engine and the more performant systems of MSFS, I think. But at the same time, I'm a classics guy. And if I had a way of flying the 757 in P3D V5 right now, I probably would be. And it also I'm kind of kicking myself right now because I had a chance to, I think, pick up the 757 from Quality Wings, and there are ways to get it to work in V5, but it was either that or, by the scenery for Halifax, Stanfield, and Keflavik, and that's what I chose. So, you know what, guys? Let's do something. Let's go ahead and take a look and see who's online right now that we can say hello to. I'm going to check and see who's around that we can do a raid for and spend time with. And I'm looking. QF Music is doing Saturday Ops to San Diego, and BW Flight Simulation is doing probably air traffic control. Sim Mr. Egan is flying to Sun and Fun virtually, I think. And we also have It's NorCali. Continuum is doing a Learjet flight from Van Nuys to Grand Junction. I think I'm going to say hi to QF Music, so I think I'm going to go ahead and set up the raid there. Wow, look at that! It almost looks like the frosty air coming up from the tires, just like playing with the engine. So this is when I made the mistake of coming in here. Hello again. Hey, Poro. Were you away just now? I'm sorry if I missed any messages. Let me go ahead and set up the raid for QF Music, and that way I'll be able to say hi for a little bit before I get on to the rest of the night. QF Music with a Q. Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you for the heads up. So I will probably either reach out to you direct or just let you know in chat, hey, by the way, curious what your thoughts are about, getting started with PPL. So let's get that raid going. Thank you so much for stopping by today, everybody. Really appreciate your support. Thank you again to Allison Johnson for the raid. And we're going to go ahead and hang out with QF Music for tonight. Take care, folks. And thank you so much for saying hello. And like I always like to say, if you want true peace, you want the Prince of Peace in your life. And that is Jesus Christ. Take care, my friends, and have a great night. And we'll see ya.